Ladies and gentlemen, the king is here, back with another banger, back with another episode of a Genshin reaction. Today, I should have done this video earlier, but today we're reacting to 5.0 NATHLAN Archon Quest recap and theories, Genshin Impact Minsleif. I believe that's how you say it, Minsleif. Now, when I finished the game, when I finished that Archon Quest, me and chat was totally confused about the Pyro Archon, because there was like the Pyro, it seemed like, for what I remember, because I didn't recap this for myself because they're going to recap it, so, but from what I remember, I think we were confused. I believe Pyro Archon skipped 500 years and then had a whole bunch of plan, but it had to take place right here, and then Blase. It's just something about the Pyro Archon that's confusing. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember specifically what confused me, but there was something specific. They'll more than likely talk about it in the video, but there was something about the Pyro Archon that was different from everybody else that really did confuse me. But anyways, let's get straight into it. Like the video, like and subscribe, trying to get some more video bells, more videos come out, comments, and the other videos you might have. Follow Twitter, follow Twitch, and let's get straight into 5.0 NATHLAN Archon Quest recap and theory Genshin Impact by Minsleif. Shout out! Thank you. Go support the original release.
NATLAN release week, everyone. I'm your leafy lord keeper Minsleif, and I read the Genshin chapter so that you don't have to. This video will contain a summary of the 5.0 Archon Quest, both Act 1 and Act 2, as well as analysis and speculations about NATLAN and its plot post-Archon Quest.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about Xbalanque, Capitano, and Mavuika in a sec. I promise there's a lot to talk about, but for now, here's the recap. Act 1 begins with the end of Fontaine. Some of the cast video do as you embark on your journey to NATLAN. This is probably my favorite nation send-off so far. Sumeru's was super cute also, but the only thing that would have made this moment better was, I don't know, Nouvellette appearing.
Yeah, he should have pulled up on us.
Welcome.
He could have pulled up on us.
It's known as a land of dragons because humans and saurians coexist peacefully as each other's companions. It's also known as a nation of war because for at least 500 years, the nation has been in constant battle with the Abyss. Every year, the 6 tribes of NATLAN participate in a tournament known as the Pilgrimage of the Return of the Sacred Flame to determine the 5 strongest warriors of the entire region. The chosen 5 take part in the Night Warden Wars. They're essentially sent off to defend NATLAN against the Abyss, and the chance to be recognized as a hero and take part in the Night Warden Wars are considered to be the highest honor. This is where we meet Kachina, a young warrior from the Nenetskayan tribe or the Children of Echoes, and this is her predicament. Pilgrimage is a tournament that's broken up into 2 parts. First is a co-op round where teams battle to capture sacred flames. Then whoever survives from the co-op battles gets sent into round 2, which is just individual 1v1s. Poor Kachina unfortunately has trouble locking in teammates for the first round.
She can't lock in for
an ongoing issue for her for years now. Whenever the pilgrimage draws close, people avoid her in fear that she'll ask them to be her teammate. Over time, people's lack of faith in her has severely whittled down her confidence, and she has deep doubts as to why she was even chosen as an ancient name bearer. Ancient names are special titles given to certain members of the 6 tribes. Each ancient name is associated with the heroic deeds of its previous bearers, and it's also seen as a way to immortalize NATLAN's history. Bearers are given obsidian stones with an inscribed ancient name, and this ancient name becomes a source of inspiration for them in battle. Just note, it technically doesn't give them any special powers.
Okay, I didn't think so.
It's more seen as a tool for mental fortitude. The ones to determine which person is deserving of an ancient name are the Wayob, an entity from an underground realm that protects and provides wisdom to the people of NATLAN. Wayob are able to see the past and the future. Each tribe has its own Wayob that it calls upon for protection and blessings. We'll cover this more in detail later. Kachina is the bearer of the ancient name Utabiti, and the previous bearer of her name fought in 27 Night Warden Wars, so she puts a lot of pressure on herself to try to add her own legacy to her ancient name. For context, Kachina hasn't participated in a single Night Warden War, since she never made it that far in the pilgrimage to qualify being drafted for it. Traveler and Paimon offer to be her teammates, but unfortunately, only people from NATLAN are allowed to join the pilgrimage. Kachina gives the 2 a tour of her tribe, and the final stop stop is the Pyro statue of the Seven.
Right.
Paimon insists for
we're
Traveler
not
to
able to
try
get the thing.
resonating with the Pyro element, but something strange happens.
Yeah.
Traveler doesn't sense any elemental energy in the statue of the Seven, so they're unable to resonate with the Pyro element. Yeah, so for anyone hoping to use Pyro Traveler,
We're not getting that for a minute.
A little longer. Also note that so far, Traveler is the only one who seems to be able to wield all elements at once.
Yeah.
The group decide to head over to the Stadium of the Sacred Fire since Kachina has the pilgrimage and Traveler and Paimon have questions for the Pyro Archon.
Right.
On the way there, we learn that the role of the Pyro Archon operates way differently than in any other region.
Okay,
First
let's
of
lock in,
all,
let's lock
according
in.
to Kachina, every Pyro Archon in Natlan was an ordinary human.
That's one of the things. Ordinary human shit just doesn't make sense to me right now, but hey, we just go, you know?
Or taking on the role. This is technically the first time we're potentially seeing a human Archon since Farina's situation was more of an edge case. It's similar but not quite the same. As a normie human, the Pyro Archon experiences the natural course of aging, which means many people have taken up the title of Pyro Archon in Natlan over the years. The pilgrimage is actually how the next Pyro Archon is
Hold on, let me, cause
Pyro Archon in Natlan over the years, which means many people have taken up the title of Pyro Archon in Natlan over the years.
That's what's sending me. But I just thought about it. Many people have taken up the title Pyro Archon over the years because the Pyro Archon had to skip 500 years into the future. Had to leave all her family and this and that all behind. Makes sense. The Pyro Archon has been gone for 500 years and had to skip basically until now. So people have been picking up the title of Pyro Archon without actually being the Pyro Archon. You feel me? I think that's how that's what I think.
The pilgrimage is actually how the next Pyro Archon is selected, and anyone is eligible to claim this title.
That's what I, you know, that's another thing. Is that the pilgrimage is actually how the next Pyro Archon is selected, and anyone is eligible. Now, because she skipped 500 years, I'm guessing that's how they decided the Pyro Archon now. But like, she's the actual Pyro Archon, right? Does that make like she's the actual Pyro Archon, so she can't. So I guess she went to sleep for 500 years, came back and fucked everybody up, and like, I'm the Pyro Archon now. Like that. I think that's how it should be going, right? I don't know.
Actually how the next Pyro Archon is selected, and anyone is eligible to claim this title. The current Archon Mavuika was said to have achieved an overwhelming victory.
Yeah.
So for clarification, it doesn't mean that a new Pyro Archon is elected every year. Probably just when the previous one becomes old and a new one needs to be elected.
Right.
The Archon candidates need to achieve numerous victories, or their strength has to be incredibly undeniable.
Yeah.
Despite their strength, the current Archon Mavuika is said to be kind and understanding. The group arrive at the Stadium of the Sacred Flame, and there we meet Kachina's friends, fellow ancient name bearers, Kinich and Mualani. Since Kachina has no teammates for the pilgrimage, Mualani decides to leave her own team to be Kachina's teammate. Kinich agrees to take over Mualani's team instead. Again, the point of the pilgrimage is not only to potentially elect the next Pyro Archon, but also to get the chance to enlist in the Night Warden Wars and join the eternal fight to protect the nation from the abyss. All for the glory of Natlan, of course. Wait, this sounds dangerous, and fighting with the abyss usually comes with the massive possibility of dying.
But people get resurrected.
So this is where the Ode of Resurrection comes into play. It's in the name, so the Ode of Resurrection basically resurrects people who die in the Night Warden Wars. However, the Pyro Archon can't go willy-nilly resurrecting everyone. I'm sorry, La Senora Mains. The Ode of Resurrection has two limitations. Number one, the Ode only works on ancient name bearers. Each as an ancient name bearer has been resurrected in the past. Mualani, also a bearer and a longtime champion of the Night Warden Wars, has never needed to be resurrected. So, sorry, Kinich, it's a skill issue and how that's crazy. This rule is also why ordinary non-bearers are not sent to the Night Warden Wars, even if they're victorious in the pilgrimage. Number two, victory. The victors shall burn bright, while the losers must turn to ash. This means only those who die victorious in the Night Warden Wars can be resurrected. Defeat in battle not only means death, but the destruction of your ancient name, meaning it can never be inherited by future bearers again. So, as an example, let's say Kachina, who bears the ancient name of Utabidi, somehow makes it through the pilgrimage and gets drafted as one of the 5 final victors into the
What if?
wars. If she loses, or the rest of her team loses in battle, and she dies in the Night Warden Wars, then she can't be resurrected, and on top of that, the ancient name of Utabiti dies with her. No one can inherit that name or legacy anymore in the future. Just one person from the 5 needs to come back victorious for the Ode of Resurrection to take effect.
Right.
Otherwise, the tales and names of the vanquished are eventually forgotten. So, what happens when you die in battle?
Yeah.
According to Kenichi, you end up in the spiritual realm of the Wayob.
The
The
Wayob.
spiritual realm is known as the Night Kingdom, a mysterious liminal space between body and mind and life and death. In order to resurrect the dead, the Pyro Archon will walk through the sacred flame, enter the Night Kingdom, and retrieve the fallen name bearer.
Preach.
Now back to the story. Kachina and Mualani register as a team, and the group hangs out later that evening to give Kachina a pep talk. Even though it's not her first pilgrimage, it is her first real shot at progressing far. Girlie's on a 7 or 8 losing
Girlies.
streak, okay?
Dang.
She needs his dub.
She
Now
does.
comes the day of the pilgrimage. Round 1 is a team battle in which the strongest teams are expected to collect contending fire through combat. Contending fire can only be produced by the people of Natlan in battle, which is why
Which is
Traveler and
tough.
Paimon can't join to begin with. They would just inhibit the production of this contending fire. Those who successfully return with sufficient contending fire will make it through to the next round. The
Damn!
reason this is so important is because
63,000
contending
damage.
fire is fed to the sacred flame of Natlan, and this sacred flame has been burning away for centuries to keep the nation from getting completely consumed by the abyss. This is the first time we see the Pyro Archon Mavuika in all her blazing glory. She
Wood.
introduces the pilgrimage with a speech and then sends the contestants away.
Love her hair.
Kachina and Mualani pass round 1 with flying colors. Later that evening, Kachina is harassed by some NPC
Like, bro.
contestants who felt she didn't deserve to win, and Traveler steps in for her.
Like, what?
I love this scene so much because honestly, after this quest, I'll beat anyone who tries to fight Kachina. Now it's time for round 2. Round 2 is more straightforward since it's just a series of 1v1s. You get to play as Kachina and feel like you're actually participating in the pilgrimage. It's
It was
cool.
kind of hard.
In
It was
the
kind of
end,
hard.
due
It
to
was
their
kind of
similar
hard.
scores, Kachina's final opponent is Mualani. Mualani
We had to
encourages
kick her
Kachina to try her
ass,
best
okay?
to win for her desire to join the Night Warden Wars. And so she does, and Kachina emerges victorious.
Boom.
The 5 winners are decided, and among them are Chaska, Yansan, and our beloved Kachina. Pyro Archon Mavuika congratulates the victors
Mavuika.
and sends them off into the Night Warden Wars to crush the abyss and seize victory and glory for Natlan.
Right,
They grow up
right,
so
right.
fast, our little baby's off to war. While Kachina's away, Mualani invites Traveler and Paimon to her tribe, the people
Right.
of the Springs. We'll cover
this
more
one, what's her face
information on the
dies?
6 tribes of Natlan later on in the video. Trust, I want to give Kenichi a spotlight at some point because we barely saw him in this quest. This
Bars.
is honestly a place I'd want to visit in Natlan because it's the land of hot springs and relaxation. Outlanders have to bathe in the artificial hot springs first in order to adjust to the high temperatures of the natural springs. It's basically just a safety precaution for non-natives.
And they got whole
Mualani
clothes on.
does something no other character has gotten Traveler and Paimon to do before.
Strip!
She gets them to change their clothes. This part was so surreal to me because we haven't seen Traveler and Paimon in other clothes in canon yet.
Like,
So,
Jesus
thanks,
Christ.
Mualani. There they meet Atea, one of the legendary heroes of Mualani's tribe. Atea was known for her valiant victories and her love of hot springs and partying. One of her hot spring buddies was actually Mavuika herself. Unfortunately, during a battle with the Abyss, she was impaled in the abdomen by an abyssal monster. Although
Impaled.
doctors were able to save her life, abyssal power still runs through her body, and since abyssal power is corrosive in nature, if she uses the hot springs, the heat will accelerate the corrosion of her internal organs. It will
Damn.
basically kill her faster. Lately, however, Atea has been spotted using a private hot spring at night by some tribespeople. They conclude that Atea's
Tribespeople.
illness must be improving if she's able to use the hot springs again.
Right.
Mualani and her friends plan to decorate the private hot spring for Atea's use and throw a party in celebration of her supposed recovery. Later
Suppose.
that evening, Traveler and Paimon wake up to the sound of fighting. Abyssal monsters have attacked the tribe, so the group steps in to stop the invasion.
Right.
The Abyss has taken over the Night Kingdom, the realm of the Wayob.
The realm
Abyssal
of the Wayob.
pylons are a kind of gate created by the Abyss to allow monsters from the Night Kingdom to enter the physical world.
Right.
Mualani and Traveler take down this abyssal pylon only to find out that one has spawned close to the hot spring they just decorated for Atea. Fortunately, Atea herself made it to the hot spring to destroy the abyssal pylon there, but her exposure to abyssal corruption has finally begun taking its toll on her.
Yeah.
This is where something cool happens.
MC started
purifies
MCing.
Atea's abyssal corruption. This is such a nice callback to the first Archon quest. If you remember, Traveler was able to purify the abyssal corruption from Dvalin's teardrops. It hasn't really been addressed since then, and my hope is that we'll finally explore more of Traveler's powers in Natlan. Because we still don't really have a concrete explanation for this. The tribe celebrates Atea's recovery, but Atea pulls Traveler and Molani aside to tell them the truth. Atea is already aware that even with Traveler purifying her abyssal corruption, the damage that it already done to her body is beyond repair.
Yeah.
She's dying. And she'd just been bathing in the hot springs to enjoy them for as long as she had left.
Right.
Since she doesn't have long left to live, Atea entrusts Traveler and Mualani with her talisman, like she'd been carrying her whole life. They're tasked with delivering this talisman to her friend, Mavuika. And this is where Act 1, Flowers Resplendent on the Sun-Scorched Sojourn, ends. Act 2 begins with Tamina letting the group know that Kachina and her team are back from the Night Warden Wars. Unfortunately, Kachina died in battle. But since her team came back victorious, she'll be resurrected, right?
Died.
The team head over to the Stadium of Sacred Fire. The Ode of Resurrection is performed, but something goes wrong. When Mavuika walks through the Sacred Flame, she's unable to locate Kachina within the Night Kingdom. There are NPCs who doubt Kachina's Oh, shut up. The Pyro Archon makes the call to suspend the pilgrimage until an investigation is conducted.
Right.
In the Night Kingdom is causing the Ode of Resurrection to be ineffective. Due to the recent attacks on the people of the Springs, Mavuika suspects that the Abyss has found a new way to destroy Natlan. With the pilgrimage suspended, contending fire won't be produced to keep the sacred flame burning. Remember, the sacred fire is what's keeping Natlan from getting completely destroyed by the Abyss. Volunteers to investigate Kachina's whereabouts, Mavuika figures out a way to keep the sacred flame burning. So here's the plan to rescue Kachina. First, the Masters of the Night Wind is a Natlan tribe, and they have a technique that can extract an ancient name from the Night Kingdom. If Kachina's ancient name can be found, Mavuika will be able to pinpoint her current location in the Night Kingdom. It's like her GPS tracker, so they need to find her ancient name first, and it's quote-unquote easier to retrieve. Second is the hard part. The group will have to go into the Night Kingdom and rescue Kachina. Under normal circumstances, only the consciousness or the soul can enter the Night Kingdom since it's a spiritual realm, but there is a way to physically enter. But physically entering the Night Kingdom will cause it to repel you, and the Abyss will most likely be in pursuit. The Masters of the Night Wind tribe created the Spirit Speaker Stone, an artifact that can be used to communicate with the Wayob, and due to its spiritual properties, it can also be used to find an ancient name within the Night Kingdom. King each claimed to have delivered this artifact to his tribe, the Scions of the Canopy, so the team heads over there to look for the Spirit Speaker Stone. Before they leave, Mualani gives Mavuika Atea's talisman. King and stay behind to assist Mavuika. We find out that Natlan is currently at its breaking point. The gradual corrosion caused by the Abyss has resulted in a massive shortage of pyro energy. This corrosion and shortage of pyro might be why Traveler can't resonate with pyro at the Statue of the Seven. It might also be why, out of the current characters we know that have visions or elemental powers, Mavuika is the only one with pyro. In order to keep the sacred flame burning, Mavuika offers to sacrifice her powers. Right on cue, Il Capitano shows up, and I'm telling you, the fight between Mavuika and Capitano is literally one of the best cutscenes. That's the bar. Zero budget for animation, I swear. Capitano declares that Mavuika is unable to rule as the Pyro Archon and challenges her to a duel. I don't want to dive into theory and speculation just yet, but I wanted to point out something. Capitano glows during the battle, and it's reminiscent of the Natlan exclusive mechanism Night Soul's Blessing. That is, it might be the hint wink wink that Capitano's actually from Natlan. If that's the case, then the theories of him being the bloodstained knight from the lore of the Munchset artifact set probably die here, but we'll explore that a little later. Mavuika is able to hold off Capitano and the Fatui retreat. So much for being the #1 Fatui Harbinger. I like him, okay? I think he's great. Seriously, I promise. I'm not being sarcastic. If you like a character enough to sass them, that means you really love them. That's why I always make fun of things as flat out. According to Mavuika, whoever rescued Capitano came from the Masters of the Night Wind, meaning someone from the tribe is working with Capitano and is a traitor to Natlan. Mavuika sacrifices her power to keep the sacred flame going. Meanwhile, the group gets help from Kenichi's tribe and acquire the Spirit Speaker Stone. There they meet Vichama, a legendary
That well lost
warrior
his
and
boy.
ancient name bearer who is able to use a Spirit Speaker Stone to retrieve Kachina's ancient name.
Yeah.
Vichama agrees to help in exchange for a favor. During a Night Warden war 5 years ago, a wounded Vichama lost his friend Malco to the Abyss. Vichama agrees to find Kachina's name for the chance to retrieve Malco's as well in an attempt to revive him. Vichama and the team activate the Spirit Speaker Stone and fight off the Abyss as they try to retrieve Kachina's ancient name. They successfully secure Kachina's name, and Vichama dangerously tries to retrieve his friend Malco's. Traveler assists by purifying Vichama in order to cancel out his exposure to abyssal corrosion. If you can't tell from the button mashing, I was panicking during this part. Chaska destroys the Spirit Speaker Stone in order to free Vichama from its grasp, so unfortunately, they're unable to secure Malco's ancient name. Malco has been dead for 5 years, meaning it's probably too late to rescue him from the Night Kingdom. Mavuika had mentioned that staying too long in the Night Kingdom will cause your soul to become one with the Sea of Souls there. What they are able to retrieve, though, is a fragment of Malco's dying memory. Vichama gets closure over his friend's death, and it's time for the next phase of the plan.
Then we see him in the Night Warden
Wars.
Wars.
To Guichi, Chaska's younger sister. When she was a child, Chaska had a rare disease and was abandoned. She was raised by the Kukusors until she was adopted by
Is that a glove? That is a glove, isn't it? That's a glove, right? This is a glove. Because if it's not a glove, this is the same thing that Knave got. But if it is a glove, then I'm gonna okay. I'm seeing it. Like I can see the nail through the glove. This could be a glove.
Had a rare disease and was abandoned. She was raised.
That is okay. That is a glove. I can see the little. Okay,
until she was adopted by Kuichi's family.
But she's some type of demon, Chad.
She's just an overprotective younger sister.
She's some type of demon. That's
what
we know.
She's a doctor who's good at treating people who have been exposed to abyssal corrosion during the Night Warden Wars. The team head back to the stadium and catch up with Mavuika. She reveals that she sacrificed her powers to keep the sacred fire going. This has to be kept a secret because if the Fuzui find out, well, you can imagine, they'd use this opportunity to yoink her gnosis too. Mavuika takes them to a room of various mementos she collected. All of these artifacts belong to previous heroes of Natlan. Atea's talisman is among them. If you look closely, you'll see the battle pass weapon, the talking stick, which belonged to Tenoch, a tribeless hero from 500 years ago. Arguably, one of Mavuika's most precious mementos is a photo of her family. These mementos and artifacts will come into play later. Mavuika used Kachina's ancient name to pinpoint her exact location in the Night Kingdom. Through an apparition, Kachina claims that the Wayob are being affected by the Abyss, meaning its power is weakening. Abyssal corrosion of the Wayob is probably what's keeping the Ode of Resurrection from working on Kachina. Now that they know Kachina's location, Iansen, Chaska, Mualani, Paimon, and Traveler head to the Night Kingdom. The Abyss ripped open a portal to the Night Kingdom, and it's located in a ruin under Natlan. This is super cool. So these underground ruins belong to an incredibly advanced ancient dragon civilization. These are literally the primordial dragons. As a quick recap, the original species of Teyvat before humans were the dragons, and their rulers the 7 dragon sovereigns. We know of 2 so far, Dendro Sovereign Apep and Sumeru, and Nuvalet, who is the successor of the Hydro Sovereign. Makes sense, because Natlan is the nation of dragons, so it's literally on top of the ruins of these primordial dragons. With the mention of the primordial dragons, it just really feels like we're getting closer to the crux of Genshin.
I hope so.
And I mean, this detail surpasses just the isolated lore in the regions. If you're interested in learning more details about the early history of Teyvat and the
I think I watched it. I'm pretty sure I watched that video.
Here. The team
it was a long time ago.
To the Night Kingdom
when I was on stream.
To their dismay, the Night Kingdom is overrun by the Abyss. The only way out of this realm is to pray to the crack in the sky. An apparition appears before them, and surprisingly, it turns out to be the remnants of Vichama's dead friend, Malco. Vichama's earlier attempts to retrieve his friend's ancient name weren't just in vain, since although he wasn't able to bring his friend back, he was able to pull some pieces of his soul together in the Night Kingdom. Malco guides the group to Kachina. While wandering the Night Kingdom, keep an eye out for the celestial nail that's floating in the sky. It makes sense that it's here because they're allegedly meant to ward off abyssal power.
Okay, it was when she sold it, it was really small, but I'm so glad they pointed that out.
Kachina is found.
Wow.
The work here isn't over. Kachina is desperate to save the Wayob who'd been protecting her from the Abyss, so the group follows. It's here they meet the Wayob of Kachina's tribe. We also get debated because I thought the Pyro
Debated.
selector that shows up here is Enjo, but it's sadly not. It's Wannabe. And this Wannabe literally kills
Just
whatever's
wannabe?
left of Malco, man. RIP for real this time, Malco. So with the power of friendship...
Power
I'm
of
not
friendship.
joking, they actually say that. With the power of friendship,
The power
group
of friendship.
defeats the Abyss Lector. After the battle, Mualani's ancient name starts glowing, and she receives a vision of the past from Tupac, the previous bearer of her ancient name. This vision reveals that there was an ancient plan to ultimately save Natlan from the Abyss.
Okay.
The group purify the Wayob before heading towards their exit.
Tupac!
The Abyss is quickly catching up to them, but they're helped by a Sealy. I just know all the Columbina mains were screaming when they saw this, and don't worry.
If there's a just quick part. If y'all have a like a video on Sealy, like a compilation video of Sealy, I'm gonna look it up myself too. But I need to know. I feel like I gotta explain what the deeper meaning of them and what they were, but I don't remember it all because it was probably a long time ago.
Because I was screaming too. The team is unfortunately unable to escape the Night Kingdom, but they are saved by Mavuika's projection of her consciousness. Mavuika was able to save them by sacrificing all of the mementos and artifacts she'd saved.
Especially
Due to
the
their
picture.
sentimental
Oh, like,
value,
dang.
these mementos contain small amounts of contending fire, enough to rescue the team from the Night Kingdom. I
Right.
just checked the footage again, and man, she burned her family
Yeah.
photo too. It's gone from the desk. It's here we
Yeah.
finally find out what this ancient plan to save Natlan is.
Ancient
And we
plan.
also get a preview of what the next Archon quest could entail. Natlan is on the verge of destruction and has a year left before it's completely destroyed by the
1
Abyss.
year.
During the Cataclysm 500 years
Is that actually
ago,
gonna
all
take
the
us a year?
nations of Tevat were invaded by the Abyss. Natlan suffered the worst due to them not having stable or deep-rooted ley lines. As a
Okay.
refresher, ley lines are a network of elemental energy and memories of everything that has happened in Tevat and in the Abyss.
Right.
The Night Kingdom essentially act as Natlan's ley lines, so similarly to ley lines, the Night Kingdom contains the memories of Natlan. With the
Right.
Abyss taking over the Night Kingdom, it's able to deduce Natlan's weak spots and attack accordingly.
Ri-
The
okay.
Pyro Archon from 500 years ago came up with a plan with the heroes of the 6 tribes of that time
Right.
to ultimately save Natlan.
The Pyro Archon from was that five? The Pyro Archon from 500 years ago came up with a plan with the heroes of the 6. Now she lost her she slept and it basically left her family. Is she not the Pyro Archon from 500 years ago?
Heroes of the 6 tribes of that time to ultimately save Natlan from the Abyss. The
Right.
Pyro Archon from that time is actually Mavuika.
Okay.
500 years ago, Mavuika placed her life within the sacred flame
Right.
in order to be resurrected in the future when the plan needed to be in full effect.
Right.
This was her way of escaping death by aging. This also means in her duties as the Pyro Archon, Mavuika unfortunately had to understandably abandon her family 500 years ago.
Right.
Over the years of her absence, the elected Pyro Archons would rebuild Natlan and restore the strength of the Wayob.
Right.
Once the tribe was back to its full strength, the tribe's Wayob would select one hero, indicating the tribe was ready for what should be the nation's final war with the Abyss. These 6 elected heroes would join the Pyro Archon into battle. But there's a problem. When Mualani received a vision of the Archon's plan through Tupac, this defined her as her tribe's chosen hero. But due to the deterioration of the Night Kingdom, the connection between the spiritual realm and the physical realm has been weakening.
Right.
This means although the 6 heroes have already been chosen, some of them haven't received the intel for this plan from their ancient name.
Right.
The name bearers have to establish this connection to their name to know what the plan is. The Pyro Archon doesn't want to force this connection because she wants to believe in the power of the Wayob and the people of Natlan.
Better get it
Time is
connected.
running out though, and Mavuika did say there's only one path that leads to Natlan's future.
Okay.
The known heroes are Mualani, Kinich, Shilonen of the Children of Echo,
Uh.
and Yansan of the Collective of Plenty.
Awaken to a world of wonder in Final Fantasy XIV Online.
This leaves 2 heroes,
Two
one
of them
from the
guys.
Masters of the Nightwind and the
Yeah.
other from the Flower Feather clan.
Right,
Natlan
right,
celebrates Kachina's resurrection, so
Look
the
at him
team
jigging.
is momentarily able to rest. Traveler uses this time to talk to Mavuika. She tries to encourage Traveler to join the upcoming battle since their resistance and ability to purify the abyss could be
exactly
used.
as we should.
If Traveler agrees to join, they will have a brand new ancient name given to them.
Preach.
This is interesting because Traveler is a descender, meaning the airman soul contains no memories or records of them. But if they possess an ancient name, this would mean that their adventures in NATHLAN will be remembered by the people for years to come. There are some strict rules that need to be met, but Shiloden is apparently able to forge Traveler an ancient name.
Preach.
Act 2 ends with a really eerie cutscene about Capitano. The Fatsui have unfortunately found out that the Pyro Archon has lost her powers. It could mean that there's more than one NATHLAN trader in our midst.
It could be.
Question marks is probably the NATHLAN trader Mavuika.
Cause what the fuck? Actually, thinking about it, there's only a couple people. What the fuck? Only a couple people know. Which the short chick with the hat, water chick. Wait, what was that one? Good age. The short chick. I mean, the short chick with the hat, water chick with Tupac, me, Paimon, and the water chick. One of these things is a traitor.
Wayob was previously talking about, who I suspect is probably Ororon.
Ororon.
In that ignition teaser, you can see Ororon standing next to Capitano.
How the hell she get such a clear picture?
If it's him, then we can say that Ororon is from
Maybe
the
that's
Masters of the Nightwind, same tribe as
drawn over
Valley. And it'd be cool if he was the tribe's chosen hero and he has some redemption arc later on.
Sasuke!
To Blackstone under a Whitestone ends here. If you stay at the end, you can choose to ask Mavuika some questions, and I know we probably have a lot. So in this section, we're gonna analyze what we learned about NATHLAN and go over some post-Archon quest theories and speculations.
Right.
Why can't Traveler resonate with the Pyro element at the Statue of the Seven?
Oh, the Pyro.
To Mavuika,
Yeah,
the
Pyro
gradual
should
corrosion caused by the Abyss has resulted in a massive shortage of
Pyro energy. Yeah,
this
we got that.
corrosion and shortage of Pyro might be why Traveler can't resonate with Pyro at the Statue of the Seven. So it seems like until we significantly clear the abyssal corrosion, we won't get to use Pyro Traveler. For now, at least, because at some point, Traveler has to be the prism master of all elements. Why haven't we seen any NATHLAN NPCs in Teyvat until now?
Because they don't want to go out.
We've seen one or two in all 4 years that the game's been out. Mavuika answers this question at the end of the Archon quests. One reason for the people of NATHLAN never leaving is due to the long-standing effects of the Abyss. The people's survival is tied to the Wayob, but the Wayob's powers have limits. They can't offer their people the same degree of protection outside of NATHLAN.
Right.
Something interesting happens. So when the people of NATHLAN do decide to leave the nation, they can suffer from memory loss and emotional issues. It's very reminiscent of the Vision Hunt decree in Inazuma, where those who had their visions taken away experienced something similar. Leaving NATHLAN requires permission from the chief of the tribe and the tribe's respective Wayob. Since the people understand that leaving NATHLAN means one less person assisting in the fight against the Abyss, for the most part, people stay out of honor for their nation and culture. So, Mavuika is human? How is she so strong?
Right.
Okay, this question might sound simple or mundane, but this is going to include some deep lore diving, okay? And theory crafting. So
talk to me.
Short answer, yes, Mavuika is a normal human. In fact, all the previous Pyro Archons before her are normal humans too.
Right.
She ages just like a normie human, which is why she needed to stow her life away inside the sacred flame in order to escape aging and reincarnate 500 years later towards the end of the ancient plan to save NATHLAN from the Abyss. Honestly, Mavuika figured out the most effective anti-aging serum. We need the skincare gurus on this ASAP.
Please.
Even the first Pyro Archon was a human. I can't believe they didn't tell us this in the Archon quests, but there's already a way to find out who the first Pyro Archon is.
How?
We can try to use all this information to trace the source of Mavuika's powers, and by extension, the power of the Pyro Archons. This part of the video will contain spoilers for the NATHLAN World quest, so just be prepared. The ancient
Unfortunately, I shall skip. Unfortunately. Actually, no, it's 2 seconds. I'll be alright. It's 2 seconds. I'll be alright.
It's the source of Mavuika's powers,
it's
and
2
by
seconds. I'll be
extension,
alright.
the power of the Pyro Archons. This part of the video
It'll probably give me
contain
more
spoilers for
incentive
the
to
NATHLAN
actually
World
play the
quest, so just
world
be
quest.
prepared. The ancient history of NATHLAN deserves its own deep dive video, but for now, I'll just cover it from a surface level and regurgitate the lore relevant to the Archon quests. I also need time to comb over all this information again, cause it was a lot. If you play the tribal quest and read the new book Records of Hanan Pacha, you'll find out that the first Pyro Archon is Xbalanque.
Ooh.
Some of you might recognize this name from Nouvelette's character introduction, and he's referred to as one entombed with primal fire.
Ooh.
The first records of Teyvat are found in the Enkanomiya series, the
Right.
Byakugo collection, and
Also
in
about
it is the
Bobby.
story before Sun and Moon, which tells us how Teyvat was created. The original species of Teyvat were the dragons, with their rulers the 7 dragon sovereigns.
Right.
Each sovereign ruled over one of the 7 major elements we know
Right.
today. An alien god called the Primordial One came to
Right.
colonize the planet for the arrival of humans.
Mhm.
It defeated the 7 dragon sovereigns with the
Yeah.
help of the Shining Shades. These
Shining
4
Shades.
Shining Shades are basically gods created by the Primordial One. For the
Right.
longest time, we only knew of one Shining Shade, and it's a name you're probably familiar with, Istaroth, the missing
Okay.
goddess of time and moments.
Yeah.
Istaroth was first referenced in the Raiden Shogun Story Quest Act 2
Raiden
and
Shogun?
in the records of Enkanomiya. She was also most likely the goddess that used to be worshipped by Mondstadt alongside
Yeah.
the Anima Archon.
Yeah.
The Nameless Island might have been her place of worship. The 4 Shining Shades are more powerful than the Archon, since A refers to Istaroth as a higher power.
Higher power,
Stories
right,
about
right,
the Shining
right.
Shades are found scattered across various materials, but one significant place we can find information on them is in the lore of the Fontaine Glider, Wings of Merciful Wrathful Waters.
Okay.
In it, we read that when the first heart was removed, the envoy of Celestia, the leader upon whose shoulders lay the duty to create life, came to the great primeval sea.
Primeval
and
sea.
there, she created another heart. This
Okay.
is the story of how one of the Shining Shades created Egeria,
Okay.
the previous Hydro Archon before Focalor. Envoy is a common term
Envoy.
used to refer to these Shining Shades, and this particular shade in the Fontaine Gliders is the Goddess of Life. You
Okay,
might be seeing a
okay.
pattern now. Goddess of Life, Goddess,
Goddess
of
of Time,
Time.
Goddess
These
of Death.
elements, for lack of
Goddess
a
of-
better term, correspond with the Genshin artifact sets. Flower of Life, Tomb of Death, Sands of Time, Goblet of Space, and Circlet of Divine Order. Which
Ooh.
means if we have goddesses of time and life, then there should be gods for space and death, right?
Space and death.
It seems to be correct, because during the Natlan Archon quest, Mavuika says something very interesting.
Right.
When the first Pyro Archon Xbalanque ascended to the Divine Throne, he borrowed the powers of Renova and established the rules of Natlan. Notice how the name Renova is formatted similar to the
Heavens.
way A refers to Istaroth.
Ooh.
The rules of Natlan include the system for which future Pyro Archons are chosen, and the system by which heroes are resurrected. This means Renova could be the name of the Shining Shade of Death. All
Okay,
the
'cause
gods
of heavens.
of Genshin
Okay,
Impact
okay.
are based off demons from the Ars Goetia.
Damn,
Iron,
really?
Baal, Beelzebub, Barbados, Focalor, etc.
Damn.
Renova could be based off the demon Renovi, who is said to
Renovi.
be the taker of old souls,
Ooh.
often coming to Earth to harvest souls of decrepit humans and animals near death. In the
Okay.
Natlan World Quest, you'll find a mural of the Pyro Dragon Sovereign killing what
Ooh.
appears to be one of the Shining Shades.
Ooh,
This is a quick
actually?
off-tangent theory, but the Natlan artifact set Obsidian Codex refers to a god that lives in the Night Kingdom.
Ooh.
This god could be the remaining conscience of the Shining Shade of Death.
Right.
Instead of truly dying, it may have created and retreated into the spiritual realm of the Night Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
This god heard the cries of the people of early Natlan and created the first Wayob. The
Okay,
Night Kingdom is the
ooh.
land of souls, and if a soul stays too long in the Night Kingdom, it becomes a part of the Sea of Souls there. It could mean that the Wayob are a collective conscience, a hive
Mm-hmm.
mind. It's not one particular person or entity, but it could be a culmination of all the souls particular to a tribe.
Okay.
So Xbalanque used the power of the Shining Shade of Death to create the rules of Natlan, so
Okay.
this could be a hint that the Shining Shade of Death isn't actually dead.
Yeah.
Just note that Egeria got punished in Fontaine because creating humans is a big no-no.
A
to
big
Celestia,
no-no.
But Xbalanque is just bringing existing humans back to life.
Right.
Now, how does this tie in with the power of the Pyro Archons? According to the records of Hanan Pacha, Xbalanque defeated the Pyro Dragon Sovereign. Nouvelette's dragon cousin maybe twice or thrice removed. Theoretically, Xbalanque should be able to rule the Pyro element and Pyro throne. Right? The Sage of the
Oh.
Stolen Flame was a dragon underling of the Pyro Sovereign, and the sage stole phlogiston from the dragons and gave it to the humans.
Okay.
In hopes that one day humans and
Damn.
Saurians could live together in harmony and use this elevated form of Pyro together. Xbalanque and the Sage
Xbalanque.
of Stolen Flame entered the cleansing fire in Natlan's volcano, to purge all curses and calamities from the land.
Jeez.
The thing is, no one knows what happened to Xbalanque and the Dragon Sage when they walked through the flames of the volcano. I think this is the moment Xbalanque became one entombed with the primal fire.
That
this
makes
is
sense.
a theory, but I think this is the moment Xbalanque himself became the sacred flame
fire.
that protects Natlan from the abyss. Which means all the Pyro Archons probably use Xbalanque's divine power when they ascend to Archonhood. One detail that might support this theory of Xbalanque actually being the sacred
when she talked to the
is
flames.
what's being used as its fuel. Archons derive their power from the collective belief of the people they rule over. In the Fontaine Archon quest, Indemnitium is an energy source comprised of the Fontanians' belief in justice and the Archon that embodies this very ideal. In order to kill an Archon, you need to use its own power source against it. Contending fire is what keeps the sacred flame burning, and similarly, contending fire is produced by the people of Natlan's belief in battle and the pilgrimage. Collective belief, which would technically power an Archon. It might also be the reason why only the Pyro Archon is the strongest as well. They're siphoning the powers of Xbalanque, who might literally still have the borrowed powers of the Shining Shade of Death, which should theoretically be stronger than your typical Archon. Perhaps the elected Pyro Archons are given the ancient name of Xbalanque when they ascend to Archonhood. And it's how they're able to use the power of the sacred flame, but also return it when needed. Speaking of Pyro Archon, on to the next relevant question.
That is still the Phoenix.
What is Capitano? Okay, this section is going to have heavy speculations and copium because what we can speculate about him will come from the recent Archon quests. I know there are theories about Capitano being Mavuika's dad, but here's why I think that might not be the case.
Okay, talk to me.
According to Mika's character story 4, Capitano is said to have blue eyes.
Okay.
Mavuika's father and her family
he has
photo
red,
doesn't really
brownish.
match that description.
Red or
I know
brownish.
physical transformations could be a thing, but I feel like there are other potential identities to consider for Capitano instead. There's a theory that you probably heard from a lot of people already, but there might be some bits and pieces of evidence to support it. Is Capitano the brother of Xbalanque, the first Pyro Archon? Capitano's battle with Mavuika reveals a little bit about what his involvement with Natlan will be. So let's pay attention to what he says at the moment. Eyes off his chest, please. He says the secret of the ley lines is no secret to him. Meaning he seems to be aware of Natlan's lack of ley lines and potentially how the Night Kingdom works. He says, long have they been destined for ruin. I love this line because I wonder if this is a hint towards the Fatui's plans to burn down the Irminsul tree. Don't think I forgot about the Torre burning it down, Hoyo. He says, since the oath made 500 years ago remains unfulfilled, what use is a gnosis in the Pyro Archon's hands? Capitano is aware it's unfulfilled. What use is a gnosis in the Pyro Archon's hands? Capitano is aware of the Archon's plan to save Natlan from 500 years ago. Either Capitano is 500 years old and he's managed to stay alive for this long, or he's from Natlan and he was given an ancient name of a hero who knew about the plan. He personally has plans to rewrite the rules of Natlan and suggests that the old world has to be destroyed. This has long been the mantra of the Fatui, but think of it. If he was the brother to the first Pyro Archon, of course he's going to feel entitled to the role if he feels the current authority is insufficient. But where are the people getting this brother-twin theory anyways? I'm guessing it has to do with the real-life Mayan legend of Xbalanque and Hunahpu, who are divine twins who defeated the gods of the underworld out of revenge for their dead father. The gods actually take the head of Hunahpu, but somehow Hunahpu is still alive, just headless. Some versions of the legend, Xbalanque gives Hunahpu a turtle shell for a helmet before they battle the gods. Purely speculation.
But that's a hard theory.
Was an Alphonse Elric type situation.
Imagine!
Somehow he transmuted his soul into a set of armor. And hey,
that'd be so hard.
Why he's immune to Natlan's heat, honestly.
That'd be so hard.
An empty suit of armor instead of Mavuika's sister Hine or Firefly under the suit.
Please.
In this case, the blue eyes that Mika saw could have just been some ethereal glow or something. But there's another detail in the Obsidian Codex. The Dragon Sage of the Stolen Flame from earlier, the one who introduced phlogiston to the humans, had a goal of evolution. Merging two species and two bloodlines as one.
He could deadass be a dragon.
Hybrid.
He could deadass be a dragon.
That the Natlan might allegedly come from these two bloodlines merged. Capitano could be this human dragon hybrid savior of Natlan.
That would be hard.
Or he might be trying to be Natlan's savior instead. Maybe he needs to rewrite Natlan's rules in order for him to be the prophesized savior. Remember, Capitano is the first of the 11 Fatui Harbingers. In terms of power scaling, the top 3 can rival the powers powers of gods.
Damn.
So him being a human-dragon hybrid also seems pretty likely.
It'll be
But
cool
real
as
quick,
shit.
before I end this video and potentially make a part 2, 3, or 4.
And
Mavuika
4.
mentions that gods are able to extend a human's life by using a certain amount of divine power or subjecting them to a curse.
Okay.
So, I just really want to talk to the specific god that did this to Conria. Now, there's still a whole bunch of world quests and documents for me to explore, so don't be surprised.
Okay, so hold on. Because it's so okay. So Jesus. So the first Archon, the first Pyro Archon was a human. And then he worked with an underling of the Pyro Dragon. And then the first Archon and the underling fought and killed the Pyro Dragon. Right? And then he basically became, he made the Pyro Dragon's power his own. And then that gets passed down from Archon to Archon to Archon through the Sacred Flame, that both of them, the underling and the first Pyro Archon, may just be it. That's hard as fuck, okay? But I was finna say something. Oh, that means there is no Pyro Dragon, though. There is no Pyro Dragon. He's actually dead. Because the Sacred Flame is the whatchamacallit. The Sacred Flame is the embodiment of that dragon that was taken away from him. The Pyro Dragon is gone. But in the cutscene where we have our Pyro Archon and El Capitano, we're next to each other. We saw a Phoenix run up. What is that? Because there was a Phoenix and then it was a Pyro Archon. Can a Pyro Archon turn into that Phoenix, or is that Phoenix a whole different being? That Phoenix got to be in a game. I don't think I've seen it, because I think I would have pointed it out 1,000 times if I would have seen it. So me personally, I don't think I've seen it yet. But this shit is crazy. So the first Archon, fucking D, okay? First Archon was like, hey, let me borrow some power from the god of death and make this shit for Natlan. He then proceeds to kill the Pyro Dragon. Takes his power, and then he walks into the Sacred Flame. Nigga, boom, boom, gone. Nigga was crazy. And then if this is his brother, and he is headless, and he is part dragon, El Capitano would be my favorite character ever in this game. That would be peak. If he is headless, the brother of the first Pyro Archon and half dragon. That's some peak writing right there, okay? That's some peak writing. But, damn, chat. This game makes you want to read a book sometimes, but damn it, I just don't want to read it. I just don't want to read every 1,000 books, okay? But, Sealy, that's another video I gotta watch. That's probably going to be the next video. I gotta understand them and how they spin back to the Fatui. I mean, yeah, not the Fatui, the particular Fatui Harbinger and all that jazz. Ooh! This game be gaming sometimes, chat. This game be gaming. God damn, my Meta Ray glasses ad. Okay. Anyways, there was another thing. World Quest. I gotta get done, chat. It might. Y'all not hearing me. Might. Maybe. Could be. Could happen. Could not. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get that name again.
Happy NATLAN release week, everyone. I'm your Lord Keeper Minsleif, and I read.
Shout out to Minsleif! Please and thank you. We will be reacting to more of your NATLAN theories and recaps. Please and thank you. But other than that, that's all I got for you today. Tune in next time for some more. I think next week. No, the week after next week. No, it's either next week or the week after. I think it's the 17th or the 10th. It's the 10th or the 17th. It's the 10th or the 17th. I think it's the 10th. It may be the 17th. Anyways, see you then. Like the video, if you like it, subscribe, and if you want the best in my videos, come out, comments, and other videos you might have. Follow on Twitter, follow on Twitch, keep a lot of other time, be with KingRosé. I'm out of here.